For this example, we will relate standard form to horizontal and vertical lines. What does the graph of ax plus by equals c look like when a equals 0 or b equals 0? Okay, for example, you might have 0x plus 3y equals 9. Well, since it's 0x, we don't really have to write it. So it would be 3y equals 9. And if we solve for y, by dividing by 3, y equals 3. Well, what would that graph look like? Well, we would go to where y is 3, so on the y-axis, right here at 3. And then y is always 3, so y would be 3 here, here, here. Y is always 3. And what ends up happening is that makes a horizontal line. Now we will see what happens when b is 0. So we will have 5x, I'm just making up a number, plus 0y equals negative 20. Well, the b is 0, so we don't have to write the y term. We can just write 5x equals negative 20. And if we divide by 5, x equals negative 4. So a similar concept, we would go to where x equals negative 4, which is right here. But x always equals negative 4. So the x coordinate is always negative 4. So that's going to make a vertical line. All right, and I'm just going to write next to it x equals negative 4 and y equals 3. In this next example, we will use the standard form of a linear equation in a word problem. Tamara is making trail mix. She has $40 to spend on a mixture of almonds and cashews and wants about the same amount of almonds as cashews. How can she determine how many pounds of each nut to buy? Write and graph an equation to represent the situation. So we are going to we're going to use the standard form, and for almonds I'm going to label it X, and for cashews I'm going to label it Y. So it's $8 a pound for cashews, and it's $10 a pound, $8 a pound for almonds and $10 a pound for cashews. So we are going to add those together, and we need it to equal $40. Okay, to graph it, it's easiest when we're in standard form to find the intercepts. So we will find the x and y intercepts by plugging in 0. So for 8x plus 10y equals 40. If I want to find the x-intercept, I would cover my y term. So I'm going to grab my little stamp. And I'm going to cover the y term so that I can figure out what my x is. Now if I divide by 8, 40 divided by 8 is 5. So my x-intercept would equal 5. That x-intercept would be 5 when y is 0. And then I'm going to take my little stamp and I'm going to move him over to the 8x. So I'm going to cover up the x's to be able to solve for the y-intercept. And for that, if I divide by 10, y would equal 4. So the y-intercept when x is 0 is 4. All right, so where it said compute, that actually will go down here. But if you just draw the arrows, that's fine. So we're going to graph and interpret what the graph means. So the x-intercept is at, 5, 0, right here. And the y-intercept was at 0, 4, so right here. So I'm just going to write that here for you, that the x-intercept was at 5, 0, and the y-intercept was at 0, 4. So what does that mean? That means that she could buy 5 pounds of almonds, because the x's were almonds, and 0 pounds of cashews, or she could buy 4 pounds of just cashews. But that's not what she wants. She wants to know when they're about equal. So if we graph this line, where would it be about equal? So I'm looking here and it kind of looks like 2, 2. I don't know if that's actually a real point on here. But if I go back to my standard form and so I'm going to rewrite that standard form, 8x plus 10y equals 40. Let's just guess 2. So she would buy 2 pounds of almonds. Since almonds are x, I would plug in 2 to my x. Plus 10y equals 40. I'm not going to plug the 2 into the y because I want to know when I buy 2 pounds of almonds, how many pounds of cashews can Tamira buy? So 8 times 2 is 16 plus 10y equals 40. Then I would subtract 16 and 10y would equal 32. Oh no, I'm sorry. No. My math is good. My subtraction, not so much. Let me do that again. So it'd be 4. I had to borrow, so it'd be 24. And if I divide by 10, then y would equal 2.4. Well, I kind of like that, right? Like I could buy 2 pounds of almonds and 2.4 pounds of cashews, because in the problem it said about the same. And I think that 2 and 2.4 is about the same. So 2 pounds, I'm afraid that this isn't going to show up for you because I'm writing really low on here. So did everybody get that? That y equals 2.4, and that is for cashews. So I'm going to write it up here in a different color. She could buy 2 pounds of almonds and 2.4 pounds of cashews. You can write yours down below if you would like. And so I'm just going to say over here on the side that we plugged in 2 for x right here. we solved for y to figure out the amount of cashews. And why did I do that? Because I could see right here on the graph, where I just put the green dot, that where they're about the same is at 2 and 2. And then we found out more precisely that they're the same when cashews is 2.4, or not the same, but when almonds is 2 pounds, cashews is 2.4 pounds.